Welcome back to the ePremier League. Here are our grand finalists. Shelzz representing Manchester City and Ollelito representing Leeds. This is how much it means to those competitors making it through to that grand final right there. And I mean, Joe, what an exciting day it has been already. And we're at the business end of it. We're going to find our EPL champion.
Yeah, exactly. We're going to have a look at the bracket now then. Manchester City, Shelzz just been imperious all day, really, going through against Leicester, Brighton, Sheffield United, and finding himself in this cross-console grand final. And he'll be facing Ollelito, who is just on fire right now. Can he be stopped?
I don't know. As a Manchester City fan, I hope so, but he does look so good. He sits currently top of the standings of the FIFA Global Series ranking, so he's had a great season so far. He was one of the favourites. We all expected him to go far. Here he is in the grand final as well. One thing that will go Shelzz' way is actually the first leg is on the Xbox, so that's Ollelito's console. So if he can keep the score low, let's say, then going into the second leg on the PlayStation side of things, which is Shelzz' preferred console, if it goes to extra time, there's more time on Shelz's console. So this first leg will be on Xbox, second leg will be on the PlayStation. So if it went to extra time or penalties, it's on Shelz's preferred console. It
is, but I would say Ollelito's still slight favourite at this stage. Coming into the tournament, we're all talking about potentially Ollelito, and we're talking about #Tom. #Tom is a goner, so that just leaves Ollelito. But Shelzz is going to be no pushover whatsoever, is he? No,
not at all. He's been incredible. He's got so much experience on the pro stage as well. He's been all over. He's travelled all over when competing within the FIFA scene. And this is massive for him. He wants to show everyone what he's capable of. Plus, Manchester City and Leeds, two incredible teams. Leeds have got a history, and here they are, the first time they've ever competed in the EPL. Maybe they could make history and become champions as well. Yeah, let's see if they can. The huge game is about to kick off. Throwing over to you, Mark and Dan.
Well, this is the moment that everybody has been waiting for. All of these competitors have been battling out, not just over the last few days, but over the last few months, Dan. Firstly, for the opportunity to represent a Premier League club, and now fighting their way through all of these different teams, all these different competitors. We have our final two players. It's Leeds United and Ollelito against Manchester City and Shelzz.
And I remember when we commentated the Leeds playoffs and we saw Ollelito storm through that bracket, and we said to Leeds fans, you have a winner on your hands here. You have someone who could lift that trophy. But now, Man City's Shelzz is the only man that stands in the way of that. And after all of Man City's dominance in the Premier League this season, maybe they can do the same here on the virtual pitch.
Well, here we go. The ePremier League Grand Final is underway, and it will be Leeds initially, who are on the attack. Ollelito, who has been so good in every single facet of his game, is immediately in on goal and immediately finds the back of the net. Ollelito continuing his run of form.
Ollelito not even allowing Shelzz to have a thought process in the early stages of this game. A fantastic fake shot, shifting it onto Son's left foot. The five-star week forever present with Son. And Shelzz going to have to come from behind already now. That is not going to be good for your mentality, but for Ollelito, he's been doing this all tournament long, Mark. Early goals, dominating his opponents.
And now the question for Shelzz is, having had to come from behind numerous times in this competition, can he do it again? We know that he's got the ability in the locker. But it's a different ask when you're going up against a player like Leeds' Ollelito, who has been, like you said, in such fantastic form.
It is worth noting that this first leg is on the Xbox, as mentioned by Kyle Walker on the desk, so this is in favour of Ollelito. Shelzz just really needs to keep a close scoreline here, so that when it goes to the second leg on PlayStation, arguably he would have the advantage. You might ask why he has an advantage. It's mainly down to preference of controller and what you're used to, specifically those analog sticks.
A little bit of a setback for Manchester City at the start of this one for Shelzz, but as I previously mentioned, you only have to look back to previous rounds and how he managed to find last gasp winners. And maybe he's looking to do again now. Rashford in on goal! Oh, goalkeeper movement saves Ollelito. Made himself big, but just that little shift from the left to the right is what kept that clean sheet intact.
It's a very subtle amount of goalkeeper movement, but it's enough, and it's quick thinking from Ollelito. Not allowing Shelzz to take the initiative with the shot, instead forcing him to direct it right to the goalkeeper.
Salah gets it on that right foot. Oh, it's beautiful!
Goal for the visitors.
It was the left foot indeed that managed to find the back of the net. And Salah, who had wasted a few chances for Shelzz in previous games in this tournament, ties it up, and that will settle the nerves.
I think that's what's important for Shelzz. When he is playing that through ball to Salah, needs to be hitting it on his left foot, strike it across goal, and just dominate when he gets in those situations.
Now straight up the other end, Adama Traore did well to get his body in the way of Son, who was looking to burst past him with that directional nutmeg. Much similar to those goals we broke down just a few moments ago. Ollelito really does have just a perfect understanding of every single mechanical facet of this game.
But Shelzz has demonstrated that he also knows how to get in behind that defence. He can utilise that skill set as well. And he's not going to go down without a fight here. He's not going to simply roll over and show his belly to Ollelito, who got the first goal. And now Shelzz on the attack. He does look dangerous every time he's on the ball.
Hey, it's going to be a really hard-fought game, this one. You can tell by just how both players are streaming forward mechanically at the top of their game. This time it's going to be Ollelito who makes the interception defensively, and I just feel like both these players are playing so well going forward, Dan. This might be a game that's decided by who actually manages to keep it tight, is who wins those important tackles.
Well, in terms of their defence throughout the knockout stages, they've both conceded very little goals. It's more been about how many goals Ollelito has scored, but 13 of those did come from the quarter-finals, where he beat Stokes and Tottenham 13-12. He has been in goal-scoring form this tournament.
It's a wonderful ball down the line here to Bukayo Saka. Shelzz on the attack for Manchester City. Ollelito trying his best to hassle and harry him, forcing the play backwards, but we know that Shelzz loves to step forward when he has the ball, but so does Ollelito in defence, and he brings Reece James out there and just makes a comfortable tackle to turn possession over.
Yeah, aggressive with his defenders, not allowing Shelzz to get too comfortable in that final third.
Oh, Mane's in behind here. Chance here for Ollelito. Cut back. Rashford looked for that extra ball. And you can just feel every time that Ollelito and Leeds United get into that kind of position, Dan, you almost expect there to be a chance created.
Yeah, I mean, millimetres away from scoring a goal there. Just a really good defensive work.
Oh, in behind here. Manchester City. Oh, they snuck it home at the near post. Rashford makes it 2-1 to City. The tiniest of gaps has been found. What a finish that is.
I mean, if you're Ollelito, you're more than happy to see Shelzz shoot from there. A tight angle, but Rashford somehow finds its way into the net. Alisson just feet planted, didn't get anywhere near it. And Man City now have the lead, and I think this is the first time we've seen Ollelito behind throughout the entire knockout stages.
Well, questions for Ollelito. Like you mentioned, his preferred console this first leg as well, but at the moment, Manchester City's Shelzz is looking imperious on the virtual pitch, as he now attacks with Sadio Mane. And I'll be honest with you, Ollelito, he's looking at 6s and 7s at the back at the moment. Here's Mo Salah, onto that left foot again, tries to turn away from his man. Kevin De Bruyne now, who of course famously scored that penalty to put Shelzz through to this kind of stage. Here's Salah. Oh, it's beautiful again from Shelzz. It's 3-1. And it's Bruno Fernandes again, and City are looking absolutely phenomenal.
And he's feeling himself right now with Shelzz. Starting to heat up. A beautiful passage of play. Quick passing, interlinking between the players. And the finish was sublime. A 2-goal cushion now. And Ollelito looks a little bit bamboozled at the back. Not able to keep up with the pace that Shelzz is offering.
He looks shook. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Ollelito, I don't think was expecting this kind of pace in attack coming in from Shelzz. Shelzz is stepping in. He's winning the ball back. He's taking risks in defence. And it's really paying off for him.
Has one last chance here, but Zinchenko steps in, and the referee will probably step in and blow the half-time whistle, which he does. Well, what an explosive first half of this first leg it's been from Shelzz on his unfamiliar console of Xbox, but you wouldn't think it after that performance. Ollelito with just the one shot, one goal, but he's 3-1 down.
Take a look at the highlights as well. It was Ollelito who did take the lead. Got a little bit fortunate to get the ball initially, but just a beautiful first-time fake shot and finished off by Heung-min Son. But this was vital, I think, for Shelzz, for City, for confidence, for mentality, all the things he's talked about himself.
Well, when you look at the previous rounds for Ollelito, he went 3-0 up against Healy, he then went 3-0 up against Diogo and Chelsea. And he could have been going the exact same route if Shelzz had not just fought back that quickly, got that quick equaliser, and then he was just in the ascendancy. And look at this goal. To see that and have the vision to apply there is just fantastic from Shelzz.
Yeah, beautiful little double tap pass just to create the angle and, you know, just miss those extending legs of the defenders who try and cut those balls out. A fantastic first half from Shelzz and Manchester City. The question now is, how does Ollelito react? Because you brought it up during that first half. Hasn't been in this position so far in the ePremier League, and now he finds himself having to chase the game.
I don't think he's been behind throughout the entirety of the Leeds playoffs and this ePremier League competition.
Patrick Bamford gave him a good game, I've got to say.
Bamford did give him a good game, but now this is a completely different ballgame. Shelzz has really turned up here and has flipped the script completely. Ollelito, the favourite for the tournament, has been confident, has been dominating every opponent, got the goal lead. But then Shelzz just upped the ante a little bit. The pace that he injected into the game was unbelievable. And for Ollelito, he needs to try and match that pace. Maybe it's a couple of counter-attacks going his way, but defensively, he hasn't been able to keep up with Shelzz' quick passing.
Yeah, honestly, it's been a little bit of a lesson in that first half of how to counter-attack and how to play against Ollelito and how he likes to control games. But now, we're going to see how Leeds United can respond. There's one thing we know about both these players. You can never count them out, regardless of the score, regardless of what's happened before. And still a long, long way to go until one of these two players will be crowned the ePremier League champion. Second half underway here. Shelzz with a 3-1 lead.
It is worth mentioning that in another competitive FIFA tournament, FUT Champions Cup, Ollelito was able to become a victor, and that does require winning on both consoles, so he is used to playing on the PlayStation.
Here's Mo Salah, looks like directional nutmeg again. Van Dijk took maybe an extra touch that Ollelito wasn't expecting, almost let Mo Salah steal back in and pinch possession off of his toe. Well, now Ollelito gonna be the aggressor here. Van Dijk stepping out of defence and looking to find a pass forward to just try and ignite some kind of energy going forward.
It's about how much confidence Ollelito is going to have going forward. Is he going to still go for those directional nutmegs that have found him so much success? Is he going to still take those shots from outside the box when he's down by 2 goals?
Here's Fernandez into Son. Beautiful directional nutmeg, but it just played it towards the body of Reece James, and he was able to make himself big and just about get enough on it. But you could see the idea again there for Ollelito, looking for that same move to break through and goal.
And if you do get that directional nutmeg just slightly off angle, it's very much a difficult skill move to work with, because it just pushes the ball rather than allowing you to inject that pace going forward and giving you all that room to actually get a shot away. And sometimes that can be the absolute margins in FIFA Esports. It can come down to just a slight angle on the analog stick.
Well, here's De Bruyne. Mane's running in behind. De Bruyne is going to carry this himself for Leeds. Ollelito on the hour mark here, looking to pull one back and make this a 1-goal game. Rashford, who's been deadly for him so far, cannot get past James.
Reece James has just been so good at the back. As soon as he's shoulder to shoulder or right in front of one of the players, you have to kind of bet on him to be able to win the ball back.
Now Mane up the other end for City. There's the heel-to-heel. Shelzz just taking his time to construct this attack once more. Surgical in his precision with the passing. Rashford now, a little flick out of his feet. Quick stuff, oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's the best of Shelzz! Manchester City 4-1 up. And this might be one of the best performances we've seen from that man on your screen.
Get that one on the touch screen. He baited the pass originally, and then he turned not once, but twice, pushing it out of feet, injecting that pace, getting the possibility to even shoot there with Rashford. And what a goal that was from Shelzz. And now he has a 3-goal lead. And Ollelito is really struggling here.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Shelz's reaction as well. He's trying to stay focused. But this, Dan, for me, put it in context. This is the grand final of the ePremier League. Directional nutmeg, turns back, then gets the second directional nutmeg to give himself the opportunity to strike. When given the opportunity, he puts it away. And I think that reaction there not only shows how good Shelzz realised he was in that situation, but that's a step closer to becoming ePremier League champion.
It's also how he initiated that run with Salah just to ensure that he baited that defender away, so he at least had the 1v1. Turned into a kind of 1v2 in the end, but it didn't matter for Shelzz because he was so quick on his feet to be thinking about where he wanted to go and how he wanted to score. And there are more goals in this grand final for sure, but at the moment it looks like they might be going in the way of Shelzz, who maybe is doing a favour for his fellow Englishman Stokes, who took an absolute battering in the early stages of this tournament from Ollelito. But Shelzz 4-1 up now and maybe wants to look for more.
And almost immediately, from kickoff as well, Shelzz wins the ball back. Sometimes everything's going your way, and Rashford now once again bearing down on goal. Van Dijk is at 6s and 7s and just about manages to get the laces of his boots on that one, as Rashford was once again looking dangerous. But now, straight up the other end, Bukayo Saka.
We did hear from Shelzz in the interview that he was guilty of just turtling up a little bit.
Ball inside here, Son. Oh, a chance for Ollelito! And don't count him out yet. Wonderful finish from Mane. And still plenty of time left in this first leg of our grand final to close that gap even more.
To get here into this grand final, he had a 2-goal lead, he turtled up, he allowed his opponent to have too much possession to push him, and it went all the way to an extra minute win it for him. He needs to make sure he doesn't allow Ollelito to get back into the game too comfortably here, and maybe he just needs to continue with his aggression, continue the way he's been playing for the majority of this game.
Shelzz now has to be careful. Ollelito all of a sudden stepping out of defence and winning the ball comfortably. Amazing how a game of FIFA can change with a few tactical adjustments and with a little bit of belief in the hands that hold that controller. Here's Bukayo Saka, directional nutmeg, almost went down inside the box as well. There was a little bit of pressure from behind. But when all is said and done at the end of that attack, Shelzz has the ball and still has that 2-goal advantage.
Both players very good at recognising when a defender is coming a little bit too close, so they ball roll away, and then often that ball roll is either followed up by a scoop turn to just go back on themselves, or that directional nutmeg to try and eject that pace and get away from the defender. Shelzz pinned back a little bit here by Ollelito, but he's doing very well to pass it out. As I say that, commentator's curse. Ollelito with a chance.
10 minutes left here, De Bruyne. Into Mane. Leeds currently struggling in this game. The ball will fall back, but the linesman's flag is up. And a little chance to breathe here for Manchester City, but a nervy moment there for Shelzz.
And in these last minutes, Ollelito has been pressing successfully, but this is what could happen.
Oh, Son's in behind here. Alisson had to hit top speed as quickly as possible there to beat him to it. The Liverpool goalkeeper did well. Zinchenko tries to feed it down the line to Saka, who was running in behind, but 7 minutes left, Dan. And maybe an opportunity here. If Ollelito can find a goal, then the second leg is set up perfectly.
That through ball almost getting through to Saka, and as I was mentioning earlier, Ollelito is not unfamiliar with the PlayStation. He will still be able to do a job in this second leg. So I wouldn't say that Shelzz is completely through at the moment. Ollelito is definitely going to make this difficult in leg number 2. Still 2 goals behind, and it could be 3 with this passage of play if Shelzz plays it right. Really, right now, he just wants to hold on to the ball and ensure that he has the last attack of the game, Mark.
Yeah, the last thing he wants to do is give that ball away and give Ollelito a chance to go into the second leg with his head held high. And be down by just the 1 goal. A little touch from Bruno Fernandes, almost won the ball back, but Shelzz will continue now to go forward as we enter the 90th minute. And Shelzz will have now the opportunity to burst forward, but no, he's given it away. And there's runners either side here for Ollelito. 1 minute of stoppage time elapsed. Mane inside to De Bruyne. Saka, can he find the ball? Rashford trying to get there, and Alexander-Arnold says, let's get this one out of play and defend the corner. Saka, Leeds United on the attack. Final kick of this first leg inside the box now. Mane almost gets a bit of luck. He does get a bit of luck, and Pope makes another save, another corner.
Referee just reluctant to blow the whistle. Surely now he blows it, which he will.
Wow.
Dangerous moments in the final stages for Shelzz, but he's able to stop the bombardment from Ollelito. And it all came from just giving the ball away when he was trying to hold on to it, may I add. But he does still continue this 2-goal lead going into the second leg of this grand final.
Yeah, terrifying moments at the end there for Shelzz. If you played FIFA at a competitive level, you'll know the last thing you want to do is give the ball away, but then it kept coming back at him. It was a corner after corner after corner. You just think, surely I'm going to concede at this point, but he managed to hold on down, and it was actually Ollelito, we have to remember, who took the lead with his first goal.
In the 4th minute as well, it was right at the start of the game, and you think maybe that was going to shake Shelzz, but in fact it almost lit a fire underneath him, because what he turned into was absolutely sublime. It was goal after goal, and all of them were excellent. There was either a through ball, there was either a skill move, and even just deciding to shoot from there. A lot of players probably wouldn't have tried that shot from that angle, but Shelzz really on top of his game right now.
Yeah, that pass there from Mo Salah, the great vision from Shelzz to see the run, not only see it, to execute as well. We always talk about seeing and having an idea and then execution, but that goal from Shelzz, if you want to know what it's like to be on top of your game as a FIFA pro, then that is the perfect example of it.
To have the mechanical skill to do it, as well as the decision-making to go for it and wonder where your opponent's going to be defending against you. There was a moment of hope, though, for Ollelito in the 70th minute to give him a second goal, and you could see he was just trying to pump himself up a little bit there because he knew that he needed to get himself back into this game. 4-2, though, this one is close.
I mean, 4-2 sounds very different to 4-1. I know that sounds like an obvious thing to say, but especially in FIFA Esports, 2 goals can be overturned very, very quickly, especially with a player like Ollelito. And we saw him creating chances towards the end of the game as well, Dan, keeping that pressure on. It's certainly, not over here in our grand final. So that's going to do it all for the first leg. 90 minutes still to come, but it's time to get the views of Joe and Kyle on what we just saw.
Yeah, I mean, what a performance from Shelzz that is, and we still have the PlayStation leg to come for him as well, so he is going to be absolutely buzzing. We'll bring you that PlayStation leg after this very short break. Don't go anywhere. We've got a second leg coming your way just now.
Who do you think has the better agility stat according to FIFA 21, Phil Foden or Kevin De Bruyne?
Phil.
You're saying Phil? Phil,
Yeah,
what
I
are you
think that
saying?
might be me, actually. Yeah, I think that might be me.
Yeah, I think Phil moves a little bit better than
I'm
me.
not too sure. Maybe because I'm a bit more younger, so.
A bit younger, okay. Kevin De Bruyne 76, Phil Foden 87. So there's a big gap, and Phil, you take it. You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, pleased to beat Kev on one start, yeah.
Like you'll ever get paid to play video games, they said. Now you're players, creators, fans, all in one huge and growing community. We know that gaming's many faces can truly make a positive impact. We're there with you. Whether you're making the next great game or just looking forward to playing it. Squad up, we're Barclays.
True or false, Phil Foden has the best trim at Man City?
Oh, come on now. It's false, isn't it?
False. So you're not even having your own trim, Phil?
I'm having it, but I just keep it simple. I don't think it's the best. Kev, do you want to put that down now, mate?
There's some glue on there. I can't. It's sticky. So I just keep it.
Set that up for a while.
As the ball goes out of play, it looks like on the sidelines Marcus Rashford is getting ready to be their first change today. Just getting his final checks from the physio by the looks of it.
And he'll be looking to make an impact from the bench, most definitely.
Whether we're in a stadium or not, there's no room for racism. Not out there, not in here. There's no room for racism.
No room for racism.
Anywhere.
Take a knee.
They kneel in unity.
But without actions,
Genuinely powerful sight.
there are just words. There's no room for ignorance or intolerance, for hate, for injustice, for sitting in silence, for doing nothing.
I'm ashamed, I'm embarrassed. We want equality in society, in football.
We all need to do more. Challenge it.
The CCTV will find the perpetrator of that and he will have a lifetime ban.
Report it. Change it. Premier League. No room for racism. Anywhere.
Welcome back to the ePremier League Grand Final between Manchester City and Leeds, where Shelzz has just beaten Ollelito 4-2. Let's go straight up to Mark and Dan for the next game.
We are ready to go, and we are getting straight into the next game. Dan, 90 minutes already gone. You can see the aggregate score in the top left-hand side of your screen. What a performance it was from Manchester City Shelzz in that first leg, finding 4 goals against Ollelito, who's looked invincible so far this tournament.
Doing it on the Xbox leg as well, may I add, which is Ollelito's home console, but now we shift over to PS4.
Salah inside the box. Close dribbling again from Shelzz. Saka plays that one back. Fernandez steps in here for Ollelito, and I really feel like the first 20 minutes or so in this second leg are vital for Ollelito. Needs to find some control. And although he might not need a goal straight away, he has to put pressure on and look to create at least one good chance.
Can't allow himself to go 3 goals behind here.
Maybe he's going to find a chance straight away. Son in a goal! Oh, it's even better than he could have wished for. Ollelito finds the first goal in the second leg, and now it's just a 1-goal game.
That's one of those where you're expecting the keeper to get there. Shelzz probably a little bit confused that the keeper wasn't able to get off his line quick enough, but the reactions from Ollelito, just hammering that ball roll straight away to ensure he could get round the goalkeeper and tuck it away. It was a fantastic through ball. Great spot to see Son making that run. And just look at that ball roll, absolute perfection.
Yeah, perfect weight on the pass, perfect ball roll, and look at the reaction of Ollelito as well. Belief now flowing through the veins of the Leeds United representative. And I said how important this first 20 minutes would be for Ollelito. Well, that goal, absolutely massive.
Well, that's not only going to give him confidence going into the rest of this leg, but it's also going to put questions in the mind of Shelzz, just planting that seed of doubt in the back of his head of, well, what happens if I do throw this one away? I know how good Ollelito is. I know how many goals he's scored already in this tournament. But we need to see the same Shelzz we saw respond to the early goal in the first leg from Ollelito. He needs to up the pace yet again, have some of those quick passing moves up front.
Well, for City fans, not the start you would have wanted. For Leeds fans, Ollelito has found a way back into the game for you, but for the neutral, and for everyone who's enjoyed the ePremier League so far, that's everything you could have possibly wanted to just light the fire back under this grand final. 1 goal between the 2 players. And it's Ollelito now who's stepping forward again. Good tackle by Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, good work from Shelzz there. Just jockeying with Kevin De Bruyne and then making the run back to try and cut that pass in lane. He did it very successfully. Just watching the pattern of play from Ollelito and recognising where he wanted to go with the ball. But that is a little bit of a mistake. That will allow maybe a counter-attack for Ollelito here.
Yeah, that was a little bit reckless there from Shelzz. And one thing you can't do is make mistakes. The pace of Adama Traore on display there to cut out that through ball, but scary moments.
See how Ollelito's trying to puncture this defence from Shelzz. It is the 1-2, the through ball. And maybe Shelzz could do the same thing going up the other end.
It goes outside here to Bukayo Saka, trying to attack the 18-yard box. The future start. He's all the way back here to Adama Traore. That's an indication of Shelzz looking after possession, but also good defence here coming in from Ollelito, who steps in with Reece James and immediately tries to put the pressure on and launch a counter-attack of his own.
Obviously a lot of pride on the line for both of these players. What a story it would be if Leeds United were to win the ePremier League after, of course, their first season back in the Premier League for quite some time.
De Bruyne gave the ball away there, and Mane is now taking advantage of it, and Ollelito tries to go back inside. Van Dijk has to stretch and use every single inch of his frame to get there. And straight up the other end now, having managed to cut that ball out, Shelzz on the attack.
On the attack, but needs to plan accordingly. He's got a Virgil van Dijk in the way, so he tactically will recycle, go back. There are a lot of white shirts that he's got to get through.
Stepping out again with Reece James now tracking that run, Ollelito, but it's Mane stepping forward, finds the ball through to Mo Salah, who restores the 2-goal advantage here for Man City. And now you can see Shelzz not getting carried away with things. He's already let Ollelito back into this game, and with that goal, won't want to do so again.
There was a couple of fluffed moments in the PS4 final, the PlayStation final for Shelzz and Mo Salah, but he certainly redeemed himself for his late goal in that final, and the goals he's been able to both score and assist in this grand final.
Salah's away again now, trying to turn away from the attentions of Ollelito, gets inside one man, fires the ball back to Bukayo Saka, the wing-back. De Bruyne now, Mane back doing some defensive work, and now Ollelito might have the chance to launch a counter-attack of his own.
Probably go for another through ball, a couple of 1-2s, and see if he can find this ball. Again, you can see the runs being made, but De Bruyne manages to intercept, but Shelzz was doing very well to track those runs, especially with Adama Traore. That's why Traore is at the back. He's just got so much pace, and he can contest the likes of Son, the likes of Rashford trying to run through.
Player switching from both players in defence has been absolutely exceptional. And Saka now into Heung-min Son, attacks the byline, stops up, heel to heel inside. We've seen it so many times so far from Ollelito, but what a piece of defending that is from Shelzz, throwing bodies in the way.
Great defending, just keeping an eye at the feet of Ollelito's player, watching what skill moves are going to come out, ensuring that he covers both turns. And he did just that, and there were plenty of bodies, as you say. But that's very close from Ollelito. It's still going to be a little bit of a warning sign here for Shelzz.
Ollelito flooding forward again now. There's a man over here, and it's Bukayo Saka. A chance on that left foot, and Ollelito is back in the game once more. Saka drives it home at the near post, and what a final we're having.
Shelzz moved his keeper to that near post, but the fact that Saka was still able to find that corner, what a shot it was, and Ollelito will take that. And you look at the possession. I mean, Ollelito's only had 33% of the ball mark, but he does find himself 2-1 up in this game. And of course, Man City's Shelzz still 5-4 up on aggregate. This grand final is absolutely rocking, as it should be, with two fantastic competitors who have dominated their opponents all tournament long.
It's the final we were hoping for between two of the best players, not only in the ePremier League, but the world as well, as Alexander-Arnold now for Manchester City. Shelzz trying to find a goal, will get possession from the throw-in, just to give him that cushion back, but Ollelito somehow has managed to keep this game close. At times it looked like Shelzz might run away with it, but Ollelito keeps pegging him back.
Well, every time that Shelzz looks comfortable, Ollelito just does something a little bit different. Whether it's a through ball or whether it's a different skill move, he's got so much up his sleeve.
Salah now goes for that directional nutmeg. Van Dijk has to be extremely careful as the ball is put out of play. What a first 45 that is of the second leg of our grand final. Shelzz with a lot of possession, but not many opportunities, and the score is all that matters. One goal between the two players.
71% possession in that first half for Shelzz. That is not something that Ollelito would be used to, but it's the counter-attack that has really been punishing Shelzz. Ollelito with those through balls has just found so much success. This was a good goal though with Salah. That's why Salah is in that squad. When you can get him through, the speed to get into those areas, then of course on his stronger foot he can finish him off. And this one from Ollelito, I mean, this is going to be difficult for Shelzz to take, I feel, because this allows Ollelito back into the game. He moved the keeper, I feel, in the right direction, but he still went near posted, Ollelito.
Yeah, still just too good a finish there from Bukayo Saka right at the end of that half to get him back into the game. And I mean, it's one goal between the two players. I said it's a final that we will hope we were getting, and this is the final that we wished we were getting. And I mean, at this point, we always talk about how next goals are important in FIFA, but if Ollelito gets this next goal, I just think that Shelzz, talking about how hard he's worked on his mental game, how he doesn't try and get down on himself, and we've seen the progress he's made, that is the biggest test he would have had in recent times.
But I think we can see from his possession counter that he's got 71%. He's changed his style in this second leg. He's been trying to hold on to that ball, dominate the possession, restrict the chances from Ollelito. And I wonder whether that's just going to allow Ollelito back into the game a little bit with these counter-attacks.
Well, Ollelito will have the ball on the first opportunity to step forward. Bruno Fernandes going to let that one run. Rashford will just about pick up the pieces here. Ollelito, precise in his dribbling and his passing. You can see that Shelzz is desperately trying to get as many men as he can in front of the goal to block the way, but there's an overlapping run here, and oh, Ollelito! That is magnificent from you! Leeds United, out of nowhere, tie up this game, 5-5 on aggregate.
It's near post again as well from Ollelito. He's not putting it across goal. So many players from there strike across goal. It's the easier target, some would say. But now that is the third goal in a row he scored near post. The first one, that tight angle with Marcus Rashford. And now Ollelito tying things up. This is going to be difficult for Shelzz to come back from, but you're completely right. He did say he's been working on his mental game, and now he needs to show it.
A little change in midfield here from Shelzz as well. You can see probably Firmino been brought on, maybe to offer something going forward as well defensively. But Shelzz, after what was an electric start from Manchester City, is now very much on the ropes. Ollelito, unbelievable resilience from him to get his way back into this game down.
Just that never say die attitude from Ollelito. I mean, Shelzz showed it in his own console final. Now Ollelito has done it right back in this grand final, but now where can he go from here? That's the real question. Can he take the lead?
Well, the first way that he's going to go is forward with Bukayo Saka. Goes back inside now to Zinchenko. Now we're gone in this second leg. Nothing between City and Leeds. Kevin De Bruyne trying to get there first again, and the goalkeeper caught in two minds there about coming out to collect it. But Shelzz, the defender, comes across to deal with it eventually. De Bruyne very lucky to keep hold of the ball there as well, but nervy moments.
Very calm at the back from Shelzz, though, has to be said. Just ball rolling away from the attacker with Adama Traore. A lot of nerves when you're in that situation. I've seen people fumble. Shelzz just holding strong.
Ball fired into the feet of Marcus Rashford. Interception from Bruno Fernandes, and the ball will go out on the far side for a Manchester City throw.
It's going to be who wants to actually take that pause and change their tactics, get some fresh legs on the pitch. Ollelito's not going to want to change anything at the moment because he's just been scoring goal after goal.
Waiting for that running behind again. You can see that Shelzz is having to switch desperately. What defender he's controlling to watch those runs, and there is another one of those runs. Son versus the goalkeeper once more, forced wide here by Shelzz. Ollelito goes back inside here. One more to Mane. Surely not. Pope, what a save! Oh my word! What a save that is!
Probably the biggest save we've seen all tournament long. If Shelzz were to go behind there, Ollelito could have completely dominated the game and run away with things. Nick Pope earning his paycheck here for Shelzz. He did well to shift the play, to force Ollelito out wide, but then he found one pass, two pass. Mane was able to skip past the defender, but look at that save, down to the ground, right hand, punching it wide. And Ollelito, he can't quite believe what he's seen.
I cannot believe it either. That is why Nick Pope is in so many players' teams. He just has this ability to come up with these magnificent saves in massive moments of the game. And, I mean, there's none bigger than that for Ollelito. He's got to be thinking, what else can I do in that position? I've worked it perfectly. I found the feet of Mane. I've hit it where I believe is my highest percentage place of finding the back of the net. And all that it found was the glove, a trailing glove of Nick Pope.
Back underway from the corner. Can we see Ollelito create a similar chance here, but this time beat the Burnley man? Still can't quite believe that save, if I'm completely honest. But Shelzz, he predicted it well, maybe just shifted that goalkeeper. Ollelito has been going near post a lot.
Well, there's an overlapping run here, and Mahrez will come back to defend. And I believe that Riyad Mahrez has just been introduced by Manchester City Shelzz here. So the City player off the bench, maybe going to be a hero here for Manchester City in the ePremier League. Salah making that run in behind. Played in behind Virgil van Dijk, who has the pace to deal with it. 15 minutes to go.
And 15 minutes can disappear very quickly in a game of FIFA, and you know one mistake could cost you the ePremier League title here. And that trophy will be going to your opponent's room rather than yours. Got to stay switched on.
Big tackle there from Reece James. He gets that one wrong. And so much space opens up in front of the defence of Manchester City Shelzz, but he got it right, and you have to get it right. In these moments, you have to be perfect, and contact there from Van Dijk just stopped that run.
That's why Van Dijk's there, just such a wall. You pair him with the pace of the likes of Reece James, Kyle Walker, and he will always do a job. But now one of these through balls, all you need is it to skip past the defender and suddenly you're through on goal. But then you've got to beat Nick Pope. It's whether Ollelito will rue that missed chance.
There's a wrestling match going on there between Kevin De Bruyne and Fernandes. Fernandes came out on top, and now here is Riyad Mahrez. Can he be the superstar from the substitutes bench? Oh, a shot cancelled from Salah. Has he done too much here, Shelzz? Is he looking to walk this one in the net? Zinchenko with the tackle. Shelzz will pick up the pieces here with Salah. Rashford, massive opportunity. Rashford again not pulling the trigger.
Ollelito just trying to hold on to the ball, defending so successfully there, watching every run, jockeying another through balls here.
Oh, Van Dijk had to get there, and he did get there. But this game is built on small margins, and at both ends. Opportunities for both players, but now, as we approach the 90th minute of the ePremier League final, it's Manchester City coming forward. Shelzz gets dispossessed, and now Ollelito can go.
Shelzz tries to bring the man down, but Ollelito's still going to have possession here. The last attack of the game is going to go to Leeds United. Otherwise, we're going to extra time. Where is that assistant pointing the flag? It's a Man City throw-in. I don't know if there's any time here. It looks like extra time is going to be where we're heading.
Wow.
What a grand final we have unfolding in front of us.
Absolutely incredible from both of these players, representing both of their clubs to the highest standards. That man on your screen, though, Ollelito, the comeback to send us to extra time with that 3-1 win in the second leg. Absolutely unbelievable. But I mean, I love watching FIFA esports in general, but when you have two players who just seem to find the pinnacle of their game and they match in a match of this kind of magnitude, it's just fascinating to watch.
And when you know you're going up against a player who is this good, you start to overthink things. Sometimes you overplay things. I think we saw that with Shelzz in those final moments. Salah had the chance to shoot across goal or go near post. He went for the shot cancel. It looked like maybe it was going to be enough, but it was pass after pass. And Ollelito, the mental strength to check all of those passes, to be able to track all of it at the same time, was absolutely fantastic.
I mean, these were the stats from that second leg as well. You can see that Ollelito, 3 goals from 5 shots that he did have. Didn't have much possession once again, but it's the way that he's set up, Dan. With the counter-attack, he usually has those 3 men just waiting forward to fire into and then look for those balls in behind. So Shelzz has to be so careful as we're back underway now in our grand final in extra time.
30 minutes of in-game FIFA to try and find a goal to become the ePremier League champion, to secure £20,000 as the winner. Honestly, it's difficult to predict which way this is going to go because both players going forward have offered so much. Certainly going to be an explosive ending.
Shelzz with the first opportunity here at extra time to go forward then. Son. Bruno Fernandes goes out wide to Mo Salah. Maybe thinking back on that opportunity that he did have, but you've got to get those thoughts out of the back of your head. As Ollelito once again Somehow manages to win the ball back and now waiting for that overlapping run again. That ball out wide is somehow going to be rescued by Heung-min Son.
He's so dangerous with these through balls as Ollelito. He picks them out every single time. Shelzz really struggling to track them.
Saka's in here. Ball roll from the Arsenal man. Skips past one.
Oh.
Salah! Oh, it's magnificent! Ollelito with the quickest of feet. Bukayo Saka dancing inside the 18 box and then finds the pass as well. And Salah gives Leeds the lead. And Ollelito, I mean, the man just doesn't know how to quit.
And when we get another look at this one, he sees the run from Saka. Shelzz desperately trying to track it. He goes right, then left, a little shimmy, and then Salah with acres of space. And Nick Pope not getting anywhere near that one. And look at that passion from Ollelito. He can almost taste that ePremier League trophy.
I mean, you can see what that means to Ollelito. You know how important that goal is. Usually so calm, so composed, even when he's leading, even when he scores these last-minute goals. But in this circumstance, in the grand final, in extra time, having come from behind by such a huge margin, he knows that could be the goal that gives him the trophy.
But now he just needs to ensure he stays on top of his game. If he just offers too much possession to Shelzz here, turtles back and gives the opportunity for Shelzz to attack after attack after attack, you gotta feel like Shelzz has another goal in him. He's throwing everything forward now. I'm sure we're gonna see 3 at the back. He's gonna push all these players upfield and look for that equaliser to potentially take this to a penalty shootout. But at the moment, it's looking like Leeds United are on their way, but there is still a good amount of time for Man City.
Still time for City. And if this grand final has taught us anything, it's that there is likely to be another twist in the tail before the final whistle does go. And you can see, Shelzz, he knows he hasn't got much time to play with. He's gone for the 3-4-1-2, formation. He wants as many players to be running in behind for Ollelito. Possession's everything now, though, Dan. If Shelzz loses possession, we know that Ollelito is essentially going to be through on goal.
It's about what Ollelito does with that possession, though. Is he going to look for those through balls to try and kill this game off and win it with a 2-goal lead? Because if he does start playing the ball around, Shelzz is going to be on constant pressure. All those players are going to be flooding towards him, and it's very easy to make a mistake. Ollelito cannot afford any mistakes now.
And if Shelzz gets the opportunity to get inside that 18-yard box, can he fashion a chance? We're back underway now. Still time here for Shelzz. But that time will disappear as extra time just seems to dissipate in front of your eyes on FIFA. But he does have the ball from the kickoff.
And maybe Shelzz needs to learn a little bit from what Ollelito has been doing. Those through balls are deadly when the stamina starts to deplete in those defenders. You can just get on the end of them with some of those pacey strikers, the likes of Salah, for example, just getting behind them. Son has been doing a fantastic job. Rashford, of course, can muscle someone off.
Here is Marcus Rashford. Shelzz desperate to do anything to find his way through on goal. Riyad Mahrez now twisting and turning. Heung-min Son comes in and tackles him. Heung-min Son comes in and tackles again. Son now. Shelzz trying to do everything he can to work his way through on goal, and he will keep the ball here right at the death of the first half of extra time. Fernandes into Salah. Oh, the ball's going to fall free, and he puts it away. Unbelievable scenes.
For all we talk about goalkeepers and the saves they make, it was a fantastic save from Salah's initial shot. But Alisson has pushed it right into the path of another player. And that is a gift for Shelzz. Unbelievable that he's been able to, A, keep the ball after Son almost tackled his teammate twice. And then the referee didn't even blow the whistle. He kept going forward.
I mean, Heung-min Son came in like a wrecking ball. Somehow created an opportunity. Sometimes you have to test the goalkeeper. We know when you hit that ball across goal, especially with the formation that Shelzz is playing as well, there's always the opportunity of those players on the right-hand side to come in late, to apply that finishing touch, and that is exactly what they did. So now we're back to being tied up once more. Dan Gaskin Which way is this going to go?
You can't ask me that question. It could go either way. It's been so close between these two teams. We could end up in a penalty shootout if we do not find a goal in the next 15 minutes. But I feel like there is another goal here, Mark. Both players are at the top of their game right now.
A goal here, surely, would be the one that would crown an ePremier League champion. Although, I've got to be honest, I've said sentences before with much more confidence than the one I just said. Ollelito for Leeds United does have the ball from kickoff. Rashford, oh, he's in on goal! Pope with a save again! This game has had everything.
84 rated Nick Pope. You don't need your high-rated goalkeepers because Nick Pope, one of the best, 6'7" odd. And the fact he can get down and make those saves, that could be a game-winning save for Shelzz in Man City.
And now Shelzz for Manchester City is going to fire the ball wide. Riyad Mahrez, ball roll, scoop turn from the City player to another Manchester City idol. Ball round the corner now, Shelzz, he's in on goal. Oh, it's hit the post.
He's tried it at the tightest of angles. We've seen Rashford put them away from that sort of position, but Bruno Fernandes does not have success. And neither player able to score in these scenarios, and we're getting closer and closer to a penalty shootout, Mark. But Shelzz wins the ball back.
And it's Cancelo who does it. João Cancelo, a player who Manchester City fans know what a big season he's had. Will that be a massive tackle? No! The directional nutmeg is going to be defended. And now Ollelito, with just a few more seconds on the clock, is streaming forward here for Leeds.
Does have a little bit of time to work with. Probably wants the last attack of the game here. And he could make himself an ePremier League champion. All he needs is to put that ball in the back of the net.
Son puts the ball around the corner. Pope is quick off his line. And with that, Shelzz, Ollelito, City, Leeds go to the spot. City up first. Shelzz puts it away. Mo Salah for Ollelito and Leeds. Oh, it's cheeky, but it counts.
Not even time for the players to take a breather after the final whistle. But Shelzz now stepping up with Mahrez, and it's a perfect penalty, left-hand side. And Ollelito has to respond here. Does go down the middle again, just slightly right to the keeper.
Salah for City, steps up and sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Advantage to City once more. Kante, fresh on the pitch now. He goes down the middle, and a huge save by Nick Pope.
And Shelzz has already won one penalty shootout. Can he win another? It's gone in! How on earth has that gone in?
And now, Ollelito has to step up, has to score, and he cannot, and Manchester City and Shelzz. Ice in the veins for the City man and the king of the ePremier League. Manchester City, Shelzz, ePremier League champions.
You say ice in the veins, it's tears in the eyes for both players, but for entirely different reasons. Ollelito in Leeds knows just how close he came to lifting that trophy. And it's a penalty shootout where Shelzz is able to make two huge saves. Even if Ollelito had made that save where he went the right way, Shelzz still went the correct way with his goalkeeper next. And that's two penalty shootouts in the knockout stages for Shelzz and Man City. And that penalty shootout wins Manchester City the ePremier League trophy.
Absolutely unbelievable. One of the greatest games of FIFA Esports I've seen in recent times. City and Leeds, you should be proud of both of your players, as should all of the clubs that have been involved in the ePremier League this year. But when it is all said and done, Shelzz is the ePremier League champion for Manchester City. I mean, what a moment for him. We know Shelzz, we've known him for a long time, been so close so many times, but to pick up a trophy, I mean, we've got the pictures of him on screen right now. I think he's just overwhelmed with what he's achieved.
£20,000 in your pocket, not bad for a day's work of FIFA, or a few days' work, should we say. Maybe a couple of months after all the qualifiers he had to go through for Man City as well. But there would have been a lot of pressure from the Man City team, but what an amazing game it was. We can look back at the highlights, Mark. This grand final had everything And these are the extra time highlights.
I mean, from Ollelito, an extra time, cool, calm, collected, beautiful dribbling to find that ball back inside, but Shelzz was not done. Look at the clock in the top left-hand side of your screen. This is in stoppage time at the end of the first half of extra time. Rashford managing to find that touch, and then we went to the spot, and Nick Pope, I think cannot be second guessed. The man of the tournament for Shelzz and Manchester City. The massive saves that he made in that game cannot be understated.
A lot of people say goalkeeper selection is not important in FIFA because they all have the same stats and they're all going to do the same thing. I think we've seen Nick Pope is the MVP. Some of the saves he made comparatively to what Alisson did, I mean, this tournament was unreal, Mark.
Absolutely unreal. And one man who has been unreal is, of course, the winner, Shelzz. We're lucky enough to catch up with him now. Nicole has the opportunity to speak with him.
Oh, what an incredible final that was. And we have our ePremier League champion, Shelzz. Shelzz, we saw how much that meant to you. I mean, we can see it on your face right now. Tell us, how does it feel?
Words can't describe, honestly. My voice is gone. Like, I'm just to be able to call myself a champion. I'm just so happy right now.
And this right here next to me, don't worry, I'm protecting it, is your trophy. You have won £20,000. How will you celebrate? What are you going to do right now?
My parents are waiting in my room and jump on me, but like. I'm just so happy to once again. I think 4 years ago when I lost in the final, I've had that sour taste, and sometimes you need your luck. I definitely got some luck in that second leg. Pope was going to have a statue outside my club. He saved me a couple of times, but to finally call myself a champion is I just can't describe how I'm feeling right now.
And what a game. I mean, we know how good Ollelito is, and that was so close right at the end there. Talk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, Ollelito, he's number 5 in the world on Xbox for a reason. And coming into this tournament, I knew it was going to be tough. Like Tom, Mark Marley, those guys was the favourites. Obviously, them falling down. Tom was in the semi-final, had Mitch, who's obviously showed how good he is recently. But Ollelito, I knew it was going to be tough. I was playing on Xbox, as you can see, I conceded early. I was trying to get used to the controller a bit because obviously I'm not really used to playing on it. But I felt really good. And then I think I went 4-1 up. But then when he went to narrow, I kind of found it hard to contain him. He was countering me quite easy. I couldn't really create chances as well. But I just had to keep on going. And as you can see, I went back to 4-4-2 early on in the second half, in the second leg, just to have to start creating chances if I want to win the game. And I just started to get more comfortable in the sticks. And yeah, somehow got a victory, man.
Well, Shelzz, thank you so much. Congratulations. You are our ePremier League champion. Go and celebrate. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Wow. Wow, absolutely unbelievable scenes. Manchester City going to win the Premier League in real life, and Shelzz doing them proud, doing Pep Guardiola proud, winning the Premier League as well. Manchester City fans all around the world absolutely buzzing.
My phone is going wild right now. I can see it. It's incredible. What an amazing event it's been. It's been a brilliant 3 days here at the ePremier League, topped off with our champion Shelzz from Manchester City. Not does he just get £20,000, he's also got a place at the European playoffs, and he's got the trophy right there. Shelzz is our ePremier League champion. It's been incredible. Thank you to everyone that has watched us, and we will see you next year. Congratulations to Shelzz.